I'd agree that there is a room for developing renewable energy supplies, even though it depends. It's the devil's in the detail what the renewable energy is really. To me, renewable energy is a fat pipe going out to the France, taking their nuclear energy into our water storage facilities out in the West and selling it back to them at their peak hour rates, just as Switzerland does. That's renewable from my point of view. They've got plenty of the nukes running there, and they have to run them 24/7, and they only consume about 12 hours out of that. Switzerland makes money out of that, 1 billion every year. It supplies its entire grid, plus makes a cool profit of 1 billion by doing exactly that transaction. Now, that's a secondary issue. Let me start with the first question there. Environmental refugees. I'm against all sorts of refugees. I don't see why my taxpayer money should be used, whether through NAMA or through other schemes of CO2 offsets.
No, it's not using it.
Yeah.
You missed the point.
No, but you would be, okay? You would be.
No, let me say why. No, because that's a misnomer. What you said is incorrect. What I'm saying is, you have environmental refugees, which are going to be forced on us anyway if science is correct in terms of climate change. There's no question of that. So if science is correct, I don't know whether they're correct or not, but where they're going to be forced on us. The point is that it's money that the government, what I was suggesting was, you take these refugees and then you take the money that the government would have had to pay through the European Union to adapt to funds.
Look, let's fix our development model first. Then when you get to the point where the refugees are landing on our shores, have a proper selection mechanism for them, keep those refugees who are productive, who can contribute to society, can assimilate and all. That's an immigration policy. It's a different story. Now, you can use some of the resources, perhaps, that's true. On environmental impact assessment, I think it's a brilliant opportunity to learn how to do it.
Well,
and if we are forced to do it, under NAMA, if you are required by legislation to do it, well, maybe we'll get a chance to do it.
No, sorry. We know what we have to do to an environmental impact assessment. What's happening is we're not doing it. So as a result, we're now in the court on 3 counts in the European Court of Justice, right? Further, more on top of that, we're now not doing SEAs, which is our strategic environmental impact assessment. So eventually down the line, we're going to be fined for that. Yeah. So we're in a ridiculous situation where we're not doing these things properly. So we get bad development. We destroy our environment. We're building roads across SACs and things like that.
We exacerbate.
Citizens are paying to fight these cases. They go to Europe, then reacts after the fact, and then taxpayers' money has to go to pay the fine to Europe. So there's a quadruple whammy. Yeah. So
I agree with everything you are saying, but how do you resolve that? Okay, how do you resolve that? In my view, you can use an opportunity of having a real cost out there sitting over you and imposing discipline on doing that. I'll finish just in a second because I want to say what is the biggest problem there from the NAMA point of view, and also relating to the environmental impact and everything else, is what the spatial development model we're looking at. It's very simple. In black and white terms, it's really simple. If you believe that building bungalows in the middle of nowhere, in hope of that we will build them, they will come, okay, is the sustainable or environmentally sensitive or market-driven, demand-supply-driven model of development, yes, sign off on the dotted line for NAMA. If you believe it is not, you cannot sign off on NAMA because NAMA, in effect, seals the status quo of the current development mantra. And from that, if you dance from that position, and if you look at it, my biggest concern about talking about the spiral happens at the second stage of the spiral. We go through the first one right now, where we take the actual market prices down. What happens afterwards, when the incomes start taking the knock-on effect, and when the government starts issuing more and more debt to finance the social welfare benefits, the unemployment benefits, and onwards, that the first cycle created, you have a rise in taxation. The rise in taxation in this country, and the Taxation Commission report shows it squarely, falls as a burden onto the labor. In particular, within the labor, it falls on that labor which is more skilled. That labor will, people like me, Brian, Ronan, all of us here, in fact, with above average education, will look at it and say, I can make after tax income X amount in Ireland, and I can make after tax income Y amount in the US. And I'm going to go to the US if Y is greater than X. And when we do that, we take the top of the most productive part of the economy. The knowledge economy is the human capital economy. If we raise taxes, if we start increasing taxes to pay for NAMA and the likes, we're going to see the decimation of the knowledge economy in this society. When that is
Good
left,
point to end. Good point to end.
no environmental sustainability will happen.